Boss battles that rocked us the hardest. A lot of games that I play consistently or over and over again are either just straight up PvP, you know, like Call of Duty, League of Legends, that type of shit. MMOs, I love playing Guild Wars 2. That's a game I like a lot, and a lot of that is world bosses and raids, right? That's just like boss fighting. And Dark Souls, Sekiro, right? That game is fun as fuck. Running from one boss fight to another. I'm dabbling in some Tekken right now, but I'm fucking terrible, and that's just where I would like to leave that until I'm not fucking terrible. So let's get into it, man. Play.
That was sick, dude. You rock so hard, Spidey. Oh.
Little wonder then that the very best boss fights stick in the memory long after you've dealt that sweet final blow.
Ooh.
We've thought long and hard about our personal favourite battles, and after much soul searching, the Outside Extra and Outside Xbox teams are ready to share their absolute favourite boss dust-ups. Here then are the boss battles that rocked us the hardest. No more spoilers for the following.
Sekiro is on the list. Dude, one game I really want to play is Shadow of the Colossus, you know, because it's the same concept, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. I just really don't.
There are many boss
That's a big boy.
in Nier Automata, some of which we have mentioned on this channel, notably Beauvoir, the opera singer, which was one of the sad boss fights. And it's really difficult to pick a sad boss fight in that because there's so many. But the one that I'm going to pick, purely because it made me decide to play the game and thus experience all the other amazing boss battles, is the very first one, where you're basically fighting a big oil rig looking dude at the end of a bridge. It's in the prologue at the very beginning of the game. You're working your way through this old factory, and then at one point there's these big diggers and they're trying to like attack you.
Oh yeah.
Oh no! You have to
I
dodge,
thought the
dodge,
diggers
dodge,
was
you
the
have to
fight,
shoot him with
fool.
your robot gun, defeat it. That's
I never
the
played
end
this
of the
game.
And then you get to this bridge, and then there's more scoopy things.
Damn. That just looks incredibly badass.
A huge circular thing with just tons of diggers. So you're just being dug to death. And it's just like something I never imagined I would do in a video game. It's basically fight a digger. But always hoped, exactly. But you get to like this bridge and it's attacking you. And then it's this huge Transformers oil rig looking dude.
I had no idea this boss existed.
And glowing red eyes, that's how you know it's bad. You kind of just have one of these classic like big boss looming over you and you're like running around going, oh my god.
Doing 5 damage a pop,
Lioness
baby.
turns up.
Boost!
9S!
The android characters in the game
That was so
have these
far.
suits that they use to fly between the Earth and their like base up in space, their space base. You have to like fly around the robot and shoot at it and try and attack it and avoid its attacks. It's
Doing
got
a whole
laser beam
6
attacks
damage
at
this
you.
time.
Of course it does. It is the most ridiculous, bizarre fight, which includes you cutting off its arm and then smashing it with its own arm.
What?
Yeah,
What?
it's ridiculous.
What is happening?
Stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself. You just feel so great because you think, what is tiny little android 2B gonna be?
You try to run away from it. That's Skitten. That's what Skitten does every goddamn game. This moment right here,
Stop hitting yourself,
where-
stop hitting yourself. You just
where she's running
feel
and it's
so
at the
great.
end of the screen and you can't go any farther, but you run anyway. Skitten does that in every fucking game.
Android 2B
Stop running
gonna be able
away.
to do against
Get back
this
over there and
little
fight that
machine?
robot.
She finds a way, thanks to help of Minus. One of my favourite things about it is like you think you killed it and then it comes back and then there's all different stages to it. And then when 2B like finally kills it, she stabs it in the eye with the words,
You just die already!
and I'm like, yes, I feel you there. And then 3 more of the same thing.
Yo,
Turn
get
up.
the fuck out of
Play
here.
souls up anyway. The other amazing thing about this
You
boss
fight
battle
the other
is that you
ones
play
too?
again as 9S. Hold on, it's fine. He gets better the more you play the game. He's got like the hacking skills. So you then see that same boss battle from the other perspective of 9S, who's helping out 2B by hacking into it and trying to make it so that she can get the arm cut off and hit it and shoot missiles at it and stuff. When you're playing the game through the second time as 9S, that boss battle shows off what a lot of the other boss battles will be, which is reflections of the previous one that you played as 2B. And it's just a really, really good, hey, this is what the game is. And it made me go, yes, please, more of that.
There's like 5 different genres of game in this boss battle?
Yes, you've got like the bit where you're flying along and you're having to like shoot the bubbles coming at you, and then you've got like the bit where you're running along the thing and the thing's trying to attack you, and then you've got the bit where you're stuck at the end of the bridge and it's attacking you, and then you've got the bit where you're flying around it and it's
That
shooting
seems like
missiles
a
at
lot.
you, and then you've got the bit where you cut its arm off and hit it. And yeah, it's ridiculous. And I think there's a bit where you're like climbing on it as well in this one. Later on,
Jesus.
actually, when you're playing the game, you come across one of these huge machines, but he's the torso of it and he's kind of stuck. He's called Engels. And I think like the official name for the Scoopy thing is Marx, because it's all philosophy references, and you end up like talking to this robot and like doing little errands for him and stuff.
Isn't it really high stakes because there's no checkpoint?
Yes.
You have to start the game very
Yes, it's quite high stakes, but it's very forgiving. It's just kind of an endurance test, really.
It's like your entrance exam.
Yeah.
If not, get out of here or something.
Yeah, it does a brilliant job of prepping you for
So
the
that-
rest of
that
the
fight
game,
doesn't have any
particularly in
checkpoints.
teaching you how to
It's
use the
insane.
dodge mechanic, because that is vital if you want to get anywhere in Nier Automata, and also it's really fun. Rewires your brain, basically, this boss battle, via the medium of ridiculous explosions and so OTT music. Yes! It's really good.
This is a game I probably will never play. I'm just not interested in games like this. It's really
quite
silly
lazy,
looking.
but the game boss battle that I want to talk about is actually the most recent boss battle I've played in a game, and it's from Yakuza 0, the game I am currently playing. I did think about it, I did think about other games, and then I settled on this one.
It's not the game's fault.
Yeah, it's good. Yakuza 0, if you've not played it, is a prequel to the Yakuza series. It's set in the 1980s. There are 2 playable characters, Kiryu, who is in Tokyo, and a guy called Majima, who is in Osaka. They're both sort of Yakuzas who are being targeted by the Yakuza for like breaking rules. The thing that they both have in common is they're both amazing at fighting. Yeah, so there are a few of these boss fights in the game, like the one I'm going to talk about. The one that I just did, which was so awesome, was playing as Majima. And at this point in the game, you're trying to find a kidnapped girl. I don't really understand the way that the families are set up in this game, but there's a kind of offshoot Yakuza family
Thank
who are
you
called
for helping
Nikyo
us.
Consortium. And they have this giant headquarters, which is very old school Japanese architecture. And you get to the front door, and these guys all walk out, and they're wearing like weird masks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, you're Majima, you've come to get the girl. Well, you know, you're not going to have her, so we're just going to let you turn around, go away, and everything's cool, right?
登場界の情けをかけられてるうちに
Please see yourself out.
聞いてください
The way a lot of fights in Yakuza starts, there's a certain cadence that you can only do in Japanese. And I'm not going to try and speak Japanese, but the way the cadence works is someone will be like, blah, 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 blah. And then the fight will kick off.
手加減は無用だ日教連の恐ろしさを身をもって知らせてやれ
And then the way that this fight unfolds is you're moving through
He said
the
blah, blah,
headquarters,
blah.
trying to get to where the head of the organization is. And it really plays out like a sort of kung fu movie or like a John Wick sequence or something. So you're fighting groups of enemies, and every time you defeat them, you'll like boot the last guy through the door, and he'll like smash the door off its hinges, and then you'll run through into the next room, and there'll be like a whole massive group of other enemies. Like they're all wearing weird masks. There's one bit where you kick your way through into a room, and there are a bunch of dudes dressed up as geishas who all attack you at the same
What
time.
in the hell?
抵抗するな
A guy
Oh
in a demon mask
no.
who's wielding these like weaponized fans.
Fam.
just beating the hell out of everyone as you go through. And another thing about Yakuza is that you have these different fighting styles. Majima has his normal like brawling style. But he also has a fighting style based entirely around using a baseball bat. So a lot of the time you'll be like doing like bat kata on people and like just like slugging them into the middle distance. And another fighting style which is based around breakdancing. So when you're surrounded by massive groups of enemies, you can just start windmilling around, taking them out with like handstand windmills, like freezes and breakdancing poses and stuff. You've got all these environmental attacks, so you're like smashing people into walls and like booting them into koi ponds. It's just fantastically over the top, non-stop. The music is like sort of electronic, aggressive, and the whole thing just feels like an excellent action sequence from like a Tony Jaa film or something like that. It's brilliant. And then finally you get to the final boss of this guy Sarah, and he's up in this big open outdoor area like in Kill Bill, and then you have this one-on-one fist fight out in the middle of this courtyard. It's not a particularly epic fight against the final guy because you've spent 10 minutes fighting all his henchmen. He's like a guy in a suit, pretty strong, he's got some good attacks, and he dodges a lot, but by that point you basically feel unstoppable. When this guy actually lands some hits on you, you're like, I see what you're trying to do. No, not on my watch. I imagine where I just beat up 150 dudes in a row. It's basically a huge multi-stage boss fight capped with a one-on-one fight against this businessman in a suit. And the whole thing probably takes about 10 minutes from start to finish, and it's just relentless, non-stop. Fight, 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 boot through the door. Fight, 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 throw a guy through a window. Fight, 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 kick another guy through a door. Unrelenting. And Majima is...
I mean, a lot of those movies are like that, though, when you watch them. Like, you start watching a movie, dude, some of the fight sequences, you'll watch 15 minutes of a fight scene from room to room to room. Some of the best ones. What is there's one, I can't think of the name of it, but it's based off of knife fighting, and they go into this crack house, and the whole movie is just a giant fucking fight for like an hour, bro. It's insane.
This footage, he's
so I could see why you would want to play that.
Cool ponytail. Every time you come into a new room, a load of new weird guys in masks come out, and he's like, "Oh God, give me a break," or he's like, "Can't believe I'm having to deal with this nonsense." The whole way through, so world weary and annoyed by the fight, which is it's great. Yeah, if you've not tried the Yakuza series, I hadn't up until this point, and I'm 100% on board, mainly due to sequences like this. Just fantastic.
Treat yourself to some karaoke.
Yes, yeah, a bit of karaoke, a bit of disco dancing. You know, there's always something to do in Yakuza. I learned that breakdancing is extremely effective when you're surrounded by people.
It is really fun to watch.
Also, getting hit with a baseball bat is something I want to avoid in future. I would say seems unpleasant.
Taking that off the bucket list.
Yeah.
Make it the last thing. Yeah, on your list.
Okay, The Guardian Ape. That is some spoilers there. If you haven't played that yet, we'll get there in a minute. I'm gonna go run, make some more coffee. I'm gonna call Skitten real quick because she should be on her lunch break very soon. And I'll be back in a moment, guys.